Not even a month ago when I reviewed Project Starship X, I told you that Panda Indie Studio was a developer to keep a close eye on. They had already proven themselves with stylish shooters like Red Death and Null Drifter, and it just seemed like everything they touched was instantly worth playing. Now, not even 4 weeks later, they've done it again with Void Gore, a simple yet addictive new shoot-'em-up that finds the right balance between fast-paced action and replayability. It's a horror-themed shooter with a cool throwback look that may in fact be Panda's best game yet. Forget flying through space because Void Gore wants to send you straight to hell. There's not much of a story beyond piloting a small spaceship through level after level of the underworld, all while shooting down monsters and detached body parts. The goal is to survive as long as humanly possible, collect coins, and, most importantly, get a really high score. At first glance, this looks like a lot of other vertical shooters on the market. You fly around a narrow stage, avoiding bad guys, picking up power-ups, and shooting everything that comes within your path. But while that definitely sums up a lot of what's happening here, Void Gore has a little bit more depth than you might expect. Around the ship is a giant shield that can, if used correctly, be the difference in your fight against the creatures of hell. The rechargeable shield can be used in both defensive and offensive ways, simultaneously erasing fast-moving bullets and destroying a lot of the weaker enemies. This not only gives the player a fighting chance, but it also gives us a new way to keep the combo meter going to rack up those high scores. This is one of those shooters where the progression is in buying and upgrading the ship. We start out the game with slow and weak weapons requiring a lot of shots to take down most of the enemies. However, after using the coins collected from each run, we'll be able to slowly build up a fighting machine that'll be ready to take on the many challenging obstacles found in hell. We'll be able to buy faster bullets, secondary missiles, extra lives, and even shorter levels, all of which will be able to help you stay alive longer and earn even higher scores. Now, because so much of the game is about earning points, Void Gore doesn't even bother with the whole changing up the background from one stage to the next thing. In fact, it doesn't do a lot of the level construction that you normally find in most shoot-'em-ups, opting instead to throw wave after wave of enemies at you with the same background in the distance. Of course, you'll hardly notice because most sessions will only last a few minutes before your ship inevitably blows up. You can also choose between different backgrounds and even unlock new ones as you earn higher scores. My only complaint about this setup is that you can't change the background between games without going all the way back to the main menu. Yeah, that's a minor but still annoying gripe. Similar to Red Death and Project Starship X, Void Gore continues Panda Indie Studio's love affair with horror-based shooters. While I like the weird and often gross enemy designs, I prefer the Lovecraftian creatures found in their other games. This is an example of a game that would have benefited from being a little bit more over the top, especially in the early stages. There's a repetition to the waves and enemy patterns that will start to become apparent after only a few plays. Void Gore is a game that would have been better with a little bit more variety and randomness to the waves. But while I may prefer the enemy designs and Panda's previous efforts, that doesn't take anything away from how great this game looks. I love the pixel graphics and the old school aesthetic. All I want to do right now is channel all of my favorite critics from Die Hard Game Fan and endlessly gush over the independent scrolling backgrounds. They're glorious! The truth is, I love the entire presentation, from the startup menu, the different backgrounds, to the catchy tunes. It all works on me. Even though the style isn't as distinct as Red Death or Null Drifter, I prefer the look of this game. I wouldn't mind seeing the developer play in this sandbox a little bit more going forward. As both a budget title and a throwback shoot-'em-up, Void Gore hits the mark. It's a stylish action game that controls well, has gorgeous pixel graphics, is loaded with otherworldly creatures, and, most importantly, is a hell of a lot of fun to play. Collecting coins, buying upgrades, and chasing those high scores will keep you coming back and ensure that you get your money's worth. It could stand to have a little bit more variety and the enemies are occasionally lacking, but that's not going to stop Void Gore from being Panda's best game yet. Keep them coming. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite vertical shoot 'em up? I've always been more of a horizontal guy, but there's no questions the games like Ikaruga, Musha, and the 1940X series are all pretty great. Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back tomorrow with a new episode of Online Pass Replay, followed on Sunday by Defunct Games News. Ooh, can't wait to check in on that Stadia death clock. If that sounds good to you, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,